Good morning, everybody. I'm Bill Carlson. Welcome to Café on Tampa. We've got another great show for you here this morning. I'm going to hand off to my colleague Della Costa to introduce our speaker.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Café con Tampa again this morning. Today, our guest speaker is Jeanine Blake. She's the Chief Executive Officer for Capital Zone. She's going to talk to us about opportunity zones. Jeanine, tell us a little bit about yourself and what an opportunity zone is.
Yes, again, Jeanine Blake with OppZone Capital. Opportunity zones are essentially underserved, economically distressed areas throughout the United States. There are approximately 8,500 plus in the country, about 108 here in the Tampa Bay area. The goal for an opportunity zone is to come in and not only build and develop real estate, but to put operating businesses in that brick and mortar to, again, sustain the community.
How long have you been doing this?
Just over a year. Opportunity zones, the legislation opened up in 2017. That wasn't finalized until the end of 2019. So we've been ahead of the game, if you will, for about a year and a month, actually.
Tell us about the legislation. Is it state or federal or local?
It is federal. It is the 2017 Jobs Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, excuse me. And what that did was that enticed private dollars to be put into public good, if you will, into these communities. So it's an incentive to an investor who might have a capital gain where they can defer their tax liability. They can then get another second benefit, and that is a step up in basis of 10% if they hold the investment for 5 years. And then the third and final carrot, if you will, if they hold the investment for 10 years, they can treat that investment or an exit gain free. So you get 3 benefits to deploying those private dollars into these communities to do this public good. It's pretty amazing. That's the whole reason I got into this.
You know how much has been invested nationwide so far, and any idea how much in this area?
Approximately $14 billion in the nation. To be honest with you, I don't know our local number to date. Shame on me. But I will say that we're getting ready to, our fund that we're raising is $40 million right now. And we have 3 projects in the Bay Area that we're working on. So approximately 20 million of our fund will go into the local marketplace.
What is the criteria that establishes a zone or an opportunity zone that you can work with?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What are the criteria? Let's say somebody's out there and they have a business. How do they know that they would qualify to apply?
Oh, okay. So there is a map, and it happens to be on our website, OppZone-capital.com. You can go there and the resources page, and you'll see the opportunity zone map. You can simply type in the address of the location that you're looking to enter. And on that map, it will highlight in blue if it is in fact an opportunity zone. And the beauty is you don't have to build real estate. You can simply open up your business in an opportunity zone. Example, my office sits in an opportunity zone, and that is downtown Clearwater. That it's a complete opportunity zone down here. So you've got a lot of zones again in Tampa. You've got about 108.
So the benefits apply to a business, not just to real estate, and what else might it apply to?
Yes, well, those are your 2 pieces. You can have real property, and then you can actually have the business as well. So that's the whole idea of the sustainable community. I tell everybody this program is kind of like an antibiotic. You take it internally, and then you heal from the inside out, right? So this program allows people to come in. Again, they can build that brick and mortar, but our goal is to place those operating businesses in that brick and mortar to, again, create jobs. So we're creating indirect jobs, we're creating direct jobs. I think our fund will create approximately 2,000 jobs in totality. So that's about 1,000 indirect and 1,000 direct that will happen. And what happens when you create jobs, right? You're going to find that people move near their job, right? People operate about 2 to 3 miles in radius around where they live. So they move in, then they start to shop, they play, they work, they go to school. And then what that does is that just creates additional demand, right? And you continue to grow out. And that is what this program is all about, is the true sustainability where they're self-feeding. You're not having to bring people in to do something and then they go back out. I use a great example of, we live in Tampa Bay, I live near the beach. Well, you've got a bunch of labor that comes from multiple areas and they have to drive to the beach, right? And it's not necessarily affordable for those folks to live there. What we want to do is go into these more urban areas, if you will. I won't say urban, I'll say secondary and tertiary markets that could in fact have that urban flavor to them. And then you just continue to grow and allow them to, again, self-feed, if you will, in their communities.
Great.
You say you're in an opportunity zone. Where's your office located?
In an opportunity zone in downtown Clearwater.
Oh, okay. I
You
saw
gotta put
a
your
high
money where
rise
your mouth
behind
is.
you. Do you have one business as functional as you can tell us about how the whole program worked from inception to opening the door and number of people they're employing?
Well, currently we've broken ground on one project, and that's out in Mesa, Arizona. It is not actually live and functioning as a business at this point. We're just in, again, the building process. The other 3 projects in the local area, those will break ground in probably the next 12 months. So I can't say that I have anything operational. Now my business, OppZone Capital, is operational. But those 4 projects that lie in that fund that I was referring to, no, they're under construction now, and or they're under contract with a letter of intent or another type of agreement.
What when making investments like this, is there any incentive to hire people in the market that or in the area that you're operating in?
Oh, of course. It's like anything, right? We grew a business here locally called Pods. That was my family's business. We started here in Clearwater, and yes, naturally, you want to hire locals, right? That's what the intention of the program is. It's not necessarily to bring from other areas. I'm not saying that won't happen because what you'll find with these opportunity zones, large corporations are moving into these opportunity zones. They see the benefits there. And not only that, but you're seeing a huge migration pattern already. It's normal for migration to go north to south, right? Well, we're starting to see heavier numbers coming north to south. We're starting to see a lot of people coming out of California as well, right? And migration drives a lot of things. So we, again, look for those secondary, tertiary markets favorable in the southern states for our projects that I'm mentioning. We look for population growth and overall density. We don't want to go into an area that doesn't have enough population. The idea is to sustain these communities. We want to go in somewhere where we see some growth happening, but they still need a little bit more stimulus there. So we go in, and again, we just add to it.
Great. And who audits this? Like, how does the government decide what investments qualify? Let's say a Fortune 500 public company moves into an opportunity zone. Who governs how much of their business they can count for this?
Good question. So you would have to create the business and not necessarily just transfer the business. So example, if I wanted to go in and I wanted to put in, we'll just use self-storage for kicks because that's my background. If I wanted to go in and create a new business, that is acceptable. I'm not going to relocate my headquarters per se unless I've created a whole new structure. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And what about setting up subsidiaries? So if you're a same model Fortune 500 public company and you start a new business, but it's wholly owned by the parent company, does all of that business count if it's operating inside?
So there is what they call the 70-30 rule for testing purposes. You can have 70% of your assets outside or inside the qualified opportunity zone business, as long as it's within that area. If you have more than that, you're not going to test out. The government wanted to make sure people didn't abuse this program, right? So again, you're incenting those private dollars to go into the communities with this beautiful tax benefit. They didn't want people coming in and trying to, again, leverage this program for the wrong benefit, if that makes any sense. So they do have very stringent testing protocol. Not only are you tied to that 70-30 rule, but you're also tied to various deployment schedules with that capital, meaning you only have certain amounts of time to deploy the money that you bring in, and that has to be finalized by a deadline date as well. It's pretty intricate, and that's why we chose NES to be our fund administration tool. I'm sure you're familiar with EB-5, and there's a lot of stringencies there. These are the professionals, and that's what we use as our
Can you
backbone.
combine EB-5 in a opportunity zone?
I don't believe so. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you.
Can you tell people what an EB-5 is too?
EB-5 is a program where you could bring in foreign dollars to the U.S., and it was a vehicle so people could get their citizenship.
And did they sunset that? I heard something about that, but I don't know the status.
I believe it has. You don't hear a lot about it any longer, and I'm sure that's why NES got into this.
Let me ask you a question from the floor. If anybody's watching and you haven't already, please share this for your friends. We do this to provide information to the public, and we do it for free. And also, if you have any questions, please post them underneath or to the right of the feed. First question is: are there experiences in this program being taken advantage of for the tax breaks? Are there loopholes that people are exploiting that the government is looking at? How would companies stay away from them?
I haven't found any loopholes per se. What I will say is some of the zones, you have to ask yourself, how did that get qualified as an opportunity zone? But I will say this, the government can actually modify those zones because people will, what's the word I'm looking for? Forgive me. What is the word I'm looking for?
Exploit, take it.
Yes, they will exploit. But I think that there's so few of those out there. I mean, they are prime real estate. And I'll give you an example, channel side, right? That to me, that's really not an opportunity zone. What I personally would put my name on, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. It's gorgeous properties down there, right? Waterfront, et cetera, but that's not the intention of the program. So yes, I think you could have a little bit of abuse. And you're going to have abuse no matter what program is out there. But that's not how OppZone Capital operates.
Can you tell us where the opportunity zones are in Tampa, St. Pete, and Clearwater, please?
Oh, they're all over. Ybor City, you've again Channel Side, right downtown Clearwater here on the bluff. The they're they're all over it. Oh yeah, the USF area up near Fletcher, Fowler, the university area. It's all over. It's immense, actually. Oh, are you
What
there?
are some of the criteria that define an opportunity zone? Whoever creates these zones, is it a number of people living there and a certain income level or deterioration of building? What is it?
It's basically underserved areas that the governor of this state has determined to need redevelopment.
And the opportunity to create new opportunity zones is passed, right? Or does it come up again?
I'm sorry?
The opportunity to create new opportunity zones has passed, right? There was a set time that you had to create them. Will
Right.
that window open up again at some point in the future, or is it done?
Yes, it's done. They're solidified. And again, they're on that map I was describing to you. And you can get there off of our website if you'd like to, under the resource page.
Now, these zones, are they include the counties in the Tampa Bay areas? For example, all of Hillsborough County has opportunity zones, Pinellas County, Pasco.
Yes, it's not the entire county. That's really important for you to understand. It's not the entire county. It's pieces of the county that they want to see redeveloped.
But it could be a rural or semi-rural area.
It could.
So one of the criticisms of other programs that it's compared to, it's totally different, but CRAs, community redevelopment agencies, set a boundary, and then that is mainly built around real estate. So the money comes in from property tax, and then it's reinvested in real estate or hard infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
But the criticism of that from communities is gentrification. So you take existing communities that have existing social networks, and suddenly you bring in big development that plows through neighborhoods. Is there any similar criticism of opportunity zones, or how do opportunity zones work with the existing communities?
Yeah, so I would say that the big difference here is this is a 10-year hold type of investment, right? This isn't come in, build, and get out. This is come in, build, and again, sustain that community. So this is a long hold, and we do a lot of work with municipalities. We do quite a few private-public partnerships. We're in this for the long haul, and I believe that's what this program is all about. It's not about coming in, again, making something pretty and walking away. This is a true holistic approach to community. So you're creating beautification, you're creating jobs, and you're creating this environment where people want to stay and play and work. It's a different approach, I think, in my mind. I guess you could liken it to your example, but that's not the intention of this program.
You said you're setting up a fund. Is it possible for someone to set up a venture fund or social venture fund that just invests in startups in one of these opportunity zone areas?
Absolutely.
Wow. I want to be sure and ask you about pods. Robin Lester, who set this up. Thank you, Robin. She's a regular at Café on Tampa. She wanted me to be sure and ask you about pods. What a great success story. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yes, it was quite a ride.
Yeah, you all, how long was the business around? And so you built it up and sold it, right? I mean, that's one of the big success stories of our Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, well, we started that in 1998, right here in Clearwater. And that was, I tell everybody, it was 3M's Post-it note. It was never planned to be what it happened to end up being. We had a full mini storage down the road before we ever got our CO because we had a waiting list. We were out looking for the next parcel. We couldn't find it. we built a box, and then we built the lift system. We did everything kind of in reverse. And the customer was intuitive enough that figured out, hey, I can use this box to move north to south county, east to west. Next thing you know, we're franchising, and you know, that's what my specialty was. That made up about 70% of the business, and so from soup to nuts in 9 years, we built a box and we turned it into a global icon, I guess. pretty awesome.
Thank you for doing that. I mean, it's great building these huge brands, but the other thing that happens is exactly what you're doing, that we want people to sell companies. Sometimes we limit the fact that big companies are selling. You know, a company like ConnectWise that sold for like $1.5 billion. But the great thing is then the entrepreneurs and senior management who now have a lot of money in their pockets turn around and start new businesses like you've done. So
absolutely, and that's the whole reason I got into this. That event was very painful to write that tax check, you know. And well, honestly, and I was getting ready to get back into the storage arena, and my partner, Edmund Rakipi, he's a financial guy by trade. And I said, hey, I want to plan. I don't nobody helped us. We literally exited that business with no strategic plan on how to safe harbor dollars. And I vowed I would never do that again. And so he told me about opportunity zones, and hence here we are.
Yeah, people look at the big number and then they don't realize what is taken off the top. My brother's a CPA accountant, and you know, he tells entrepreneurs, he said, well, the good news is that you have to pay tax because you're profitable, right? Or because you built equity, but still it's painful to make that payment. Are you investing in other businesses too, or is this the main thing you're doing right now?
Absolutely. Real estate is near and dear to my heart, but I have people, you know, managers to handle those. But this is my everyday, all day.
Do I remember correctly? Was there any, and sorry if this is wrong, but was there any connection between Pods and Checkers?
Oh, the Checkers family did invest with us, and they invested in franchising as well.
Yeah,
and they were instrumental in helping us come up with our franchise system.
Herb Brown years ago was a mentor of mine, and he was the worldwide president of
Rotary.
Yeah. Another related question or comment. Nick Freeman from College Hunks Hauling Junk was on our show a couple years ago, and he said that Pods was the reason he moved here. I think he ended up hiring a bunch of your employees away, but because of your success in your call center, he realized that this is a great place to relocate. So
there's more movers per capita in Florida than anywhere. But yeah, he did. I met with him right after he moved down here, and good kid.
Yeah, so you guys have created all kinds of wealth and businesses around. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Del, you have any final question?
Well, could your opportunities put a person out there that's got an idea and a concept, is that something that you finance where they haven't had essentially any major business experience, but have a craft that they want to develop?
That's not something that OppZone Capital necessarily specializes in. We operate in 3 different asset classes. But what I would recommend, somebody like that, I would send them to an incubator program. That's what I would recommend.
Explain to somebody out there what an incubator program is.
Oh, incubators are essentially a place where you can go and you can get professional guidance from folks that are volunteering their time, and or they might help finance you, and for that they take a piece of the business. There's all different types that are out there. But a lot of times you can go and they'll provide you a place to work. They'll give you, again, their advice, help you structure your business, and anything you might need as an entrepreneur and not know what you're doing, they'll help you set up your architecture, if you will, and infrastructures, help you get financing. But again, you're going to give up a piece of the business most likely for that, but it's well worth it in my mind.
Well, we're just about out of time. Do you have anything else? Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you want to cover, or anything you'd like to tell us?
Yes, I think the most important thing from an investor standpoint, and for you guys to understand, I hit on that we had a huge tax liability. What I didn't explain to you is we would probably be sitting on anywhere from 45 to 55% more in a net worth capacity right now, without having done anything based on it in this type of scenario. If I had this exact scenario today, back then when we had that transaction in 2007, that's the impact from the returns, the compounding of that investment. And I think that people are just unaware of how powerful this program is. And I highly recommend folks to call, to reach out by email, however we can help people see that this is not only doing wonderful things for the community, it can do wonderful things for your pocketbook as well.
Give us your contact information.
I'm sorry?
Contact information. How can they contact you?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Tell us your website.
Contact you.
What website? OppZone-capital.com.
Yeah, sorry to everybody. Sometimes there's a lag with the internet. We work with the technology. We look forward to seeing everybody in person again soon at Café in Tampa. And in the meantime, thanks so much for your time. Look forward to hearing more about this in the future. And anybody who's watching, please hit the like button, share button so your friends can see. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Thanks for having me.